Hello guys, yeah, so let's continue from where we stopped. So now we're going to plan this project in Primavera P6. As you can see on my background, if you remember, the last time we downloaded it, I showed you how to download your free Primavera P6. So the link will be in the comments below to the video, and also to Oracle website where you can download it for free. Okay, so so what we need to do now is to create these activities, this set of activities in Primavera P6. Then we had a duration in weeks to read. Then we create the relationship. So here we've got the predecessor and successor, just like we did for this Excel file. Okay, then we need to check when we've done that, then we'll be able to know what the critical path is. So I'm hoping, I'm believing, I know, to be honest, that this is going to be what the critical path should be. And when we've checked that, we'll be able to know what the longest part in our program is. Then we're able to see this the activity logic in Primavera P6. Then we also want to load the program in P6 to with resources. So what I've done here is to calculate the number of resources we need entirely for here. So we can create a formula here. Okay, drag the formula down. All right, so that means for here in total we need a 16. So if you see all these 4 plus 4 plus 4, that's 16. Okay, so that's what we have here. So that's what I've populated here. Okay, so that's the number of resources, or the value of resources we're going to allocate to activities A, and for C is 20, for L is 16. Okay, so now let's go into Primavera P6 and see how we can do that. So what I would advise you is to take a copy of this in a notepad or in a Word document somewhere, so you can follow along. Okay, so I'll move this out of the way. So the first thing you need to do, so this Primavera P6 interface, if you want to learn how to use Primavera P6 to plan your project as a project control tool, okay, you can drop me a comment below or click on the link below and and view my shortcuts on Primavera P6. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is to create the project. We've not got the project. All this in the Primavera P6 are just sample projects. Okay, so you click on File, New, here. So I want it to be here. As you can see, the new project is already populated here. So I'll just click on Next. So let me say my project is called Project Test. Okay, so we are testing it. So don't worry about this. Plan start date. So today is 3rd of March. So that's why it's taking this date automatically. So yeah, next, finish. Okay, so as you can see here, these are our projects. Okay, it's not got any activity yet. So it's the ID, the project ID is project test. The project name is project test. So if I want to open it, I just right click on here and click open. Okay, so everything is empty here. All right, so I've created a bit of a layout just for us to do what we need to do. So the first thing you need to do is to go to your WBS. Okay, if you need to create different WBS for your project, but in this case now we don't have any WBS, just one WBS, just one project. We're not splitting it or grouping and sorting it. So number of activities that we have in total, A to L, so that's 12 activities. So I want to click this plus sign 12 times. 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so so here I want to say activity A. Okay, so I need to do that for everything. So instead of me to type in activity A several times, so I'll just come here and click on fill down. Okay, so everything is activity here, and I can easily change it to B, okay, and L. Okay, yeah, so the default duration in our program is 1, so that's why you can see it's allocated just 1 duration to everything, so that's fine. And one thing else what I've done, I've actually added the time. So if you don't want to see that, so you can just come here, use the preferences. Okay, go to date, do not show time. Okay, so we're not showing time now. Okay, so and the duration type we've got here is the fixed duration and unit time. Okay, so so what that means is that if you change anything in your program, the duration and the unit will not change. Okay, so that's standard. And also the type of calendar I've got here is the calendar, standard full-time calendar. Okay, if you want to check what the calendar is, okay, you can come here, enterprise calendar. So this standard full-time calendar, let me just modify that. So in this calendar now, as you can see, the gray area are the exception, the non-working area. Okay, so the white area are the standard, the gray area is the standard area, but this light blue area is the non-work area. So but in our program, we're not told whether we're not working on Saturday or Sunday. So what I want to do, instead of using that calendar, I want to change this 24/7 calendar. Okay, so if you can see this 24/7, that means we're working every day. Okay, that's the assumption we make. Okay, so I've applied that. So I need to apply that to my program. So double click on this and just fill down. Okay, so that's our calendar now. So as you can see, the effect of calendar on your activity. So the activity duration has changed from 1 to 0.26 days. Okay, so in our course on Primavera P6, we'll discuss that in full details. Or if you want to see what that is, just drop me a comment below, then I'll be able to explain that on my next free video. Okay, so the next thing we need to do now is to create the duration for each activity. So don't forget, in our Excel file, so this is the duration. So what I want to populate now for each duration is for 4 weeks. Okay, so let's continue, let's do that. So that's 4, but before you go ahead, you need to make sure that your time period or the duration format, the unit of your time, is in weeks. Okay, so that's why I can put 4 there, so because it's in weeks. Okay, so the next one is 6, the next one is 4, next one is 2, E is 6, 7, 3, 5, 2, 6, 8, 4. Okay, so as you can see, these are our activities with their duration. Okay, so at this moment in time, because we've not pressed the F9, we've not scheduled our program, so the total float and the free float are just 0. So don't forget, like we discussed earlier on, so the free float is the number of time you can delay an activity without delaying the next activity, while the total float is the duration of time you can delay an activity without delaying the end dates, the project end dates. Okay, so now we've got the duration. Okay, we've got the activity. So now let's press F9. Okay, so I don't need this, I don't need the calendar. So what you just need to do is to bring it out. Okay, and I don't need this one as well, but bring it out, apply. Okay, all right, so I can expand my screen, or let me just collapse it a little bit, because when we schedule it to go ahead. So don't forget our critical parts. So ideally our critical part should be part B, part E, F, I, K, and L. Okay, so now let's press F schedule to apply this. So before we press schedule, what we need to do is to link the activities. So as you can see here, the critical part, like we discussed, is the longest part in your program, or the shortest period you can finish your program. Okay, so because I've scheduled and I've not linked the activity, so the program is telling me that this is the critical part because it's the longest part. It's got the longest duration. You can see here, it's got 8 weeks duration, so that's why it's critical. Okay, so now what we need to do, we need to create a finish to start relationship between this activity. If you remember the last time we said there are 4 types of relationships you can create: finish to start, start to start, finish to finish, and start to finish. Okay, so in this case now I want to create a finish to start relationship. So what I will do, the fastest way for me, because everything is finished to start, it's the fastest way for me to do. So when you've got A link to C, yeah, link, then C link to D, then B to E, okay, then E to F, then set E to G, D to H. I is dependent on G and F, so G goes to I and F goes to I, okay. J is I and H, K is I, and the last one L is J and K. So I want to check if I've linked all the activities correctly, okay. So go to your list, predecessor, successor, okay. So as you can see here, all my activities here has got predecessor and successor, except for activity A and B, and also the last activity in your program, okay. So now let's press the schedule button. Okay, so now we can see activity with the relationship, okay. So if you look at it here, we can see that the red color is the critical part, okay. So part B, E, F, I, K, and L, yeah, which is the same thing as we got earlier in our manual calculation, okay. So here we can see what the free float is and what the total float is, okay. So here we've got a total float of 8, so it's not critical, this is not critical, this is not critical, this is not critical. So the ones with 0 total floats are the critical activities. So if you look at it here, okay. So another thing you could do, just to see that, you can come here and say critical, okay. So let me just bring it after the total float, so you can see the critical activities are the activities with what, with 0 total float, okay. So now the next thing to do is to add resources. So we've gotten that. The next thing to do is to add our resources. So you go to the resources tab, this one, okay. So let me go to all resources, okay. So I want to add these resources, so RX, okay. So what I've done here is to say this is the resource ID, this is the resource name, this is the default unit per time. So that's, you see the implication of these 5 weeks, 5 per week, and also the maximum unit per time as well here is 5 per week, okay. So 5 resources per week. All right, so now let's go back to our activity, okay. Go to A, add resources, add that resources, and I can highlight everything and add resources to it, okay. So the next thing I need to do, so what the software has done is to base the resources and to multiply the resources and the duration, but that's not what I want. So what I want is to use these values, okay. And the first one is 16, that's A. So you need to be careful here, okay. Don't assume that this set of activities are sequential anymore, okay, except you filter using this column, okay, because at times they might have moved, so you have to make sure it's correlated to each other. So the easiest way to do that might be to bring this to A. So you see what you're doing. B is 18, and make sure when you're doing it the duration is not changing, okay. 20, 10, 12, 8 is 21, 12, 26, 30, 16, 16. Okay, so we've added our resources to our program. So the next thing to do is to check our resource profile. Okay, so we can tell whether we've got any over allocation or under allocation. Remember, under our resource section we have 5 per week, and our activity duration is in weeks. Okay, if you want to show the label, what you can do, you can come here and show label. Okay, so we can see here, so that's 4 weeks. Okay, so if we now click on this resource usage profile, okay, so this is the resource usage profile. For that period, all right. And to be honest, to align, I would like my program to start on a Monday. So let's use 6th of March. Okay, so it's aligned properly. So now what this is telling us is that in here we have over allocation of these resources, our Excel, okay, of these resources, and all where it shows red. And here we have under allocation, and we have over allocation here again, and under allocation. So when we're trying to do some resource leveling, we can put resources from all these from under allocated activities to over allocated activities. And if you want to see for this period, for this week, if you would like to see which activities responsible for that, although if we're looking at it, because we've not got a lot of activities, just of activities, you can tell it's these 2 activities overlapping. Yeah, but then if you've got a lot of activities, how do you check? So just come here, right click, and select show all projects. Yeah, so when you do that, you're able to click on this. So when you click on the week you would like to look, just click on time period, so to show you the activities responsible for that. Okay, sure. So so as you can see, so that's the S curve in your program. Okay, another way to generate the S curve, although we've done it in Excel in P6, is to click on this. Okay, so when you click on this, what you want to do is to go to your spreadsheet, customize. Okay, so you don't need this. What you need is the cumulative values. Okay, so I'll bring my cumulative actual unit, cumulative budgeted unit, and cumulative at completion unit. Okay, all right, apply. Okay, so what we can do as well, the timeline, we can change the time scale to weeks, months, weeks. Okay, okay, so what this is telling us is that in total in this week we just have 7. Okay, yeah, so if you remember the value we had in Excel before, so this value, this cumulative week value, that's what you have at the top here. Okay, that's what you have at the top here. So the maximum value that you can get here is 197. Okay, so that's what you have here. All right, so that's correct. So what we can do now, the next thing to do, since we're doing it per week, is to just click on this part and copy. Okay, then come to your Excel file. Okay, let's come to your Excel file, click new file, and paste whatever you've copied in here. Okay, so this is the period. Okay, so I've got the eye level at the top. Okay, so I don't need, for me to plot the graph, I don't need this edge at the back of my active resource unit. So remember what we did earlier on, just come back here, edit, user preferences, then click on show, don't show label. Okay, so we got it here. So just click anywhere here, copy, then I'll come back in my Excel file. I will delete all this, then paste. Okay, so we don't have the value anymore. Okay, so what I need to do now for these resources, and to come here, so this is the summary at the top. Okay, so just need to come here and highlight this. So what I'm interested in is the cumulative budgeted units, actual units, and at completion units. Okay, so so the next thing to do is to click on insert recommended chart. So this is what we want. Yeah, it looks like here. So what you can do as well is to right click on this and move chart. Okay, so that's our S curve. What I like to do is just to make it like, you know, dots, so you can see what's underneath. So because this is start of the project, yeah, so you've got the cumulated budgeted units as blue, so it's underneath. Then actual, you've not got any actual, so that's 0, so that's not showing on our curve. And then you've got the cumulated at completion units. Okay, so that's on the same line with the cumulated budgeted unit because we just started. Okay, so that's what we have here. So let's compare this with what we did in Excel. Yeah, you see exactly the same thing. And also we can check our histogram with what we have in P6. Okay, so that's our histogram in P6, and that's what we have in Excel. Yep. It looks identical. Yep. Okay, so there you have it. So that's how you create activities in P6. Link activity, add duration, add resources, generate your S curve, and also if you look at this S curve in P6, it looks similar as well. Okay, but I just like to have my S curve in Excel, and just, you know, it looks more presentable. Then you can change the title. You know, you can, you know, manage this properly. You can, you know, do whatever you want with it. Okay, so there you have it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please click on the like button, share and subscribe to our channel to get more innovative and educative videos like this going forward. So thank you again. If you have any question, please put it in the comments below. They can, you know, always respond to you as soon as possible. All right, so have a great day. See you on the next one. Cheers.